A featherless wild chicken dares to dream of marrying into a phoenix family? The sour, mocking voice rang out, instantly confirming Julian's childhood friend's intention to humiliate me at the family gathering. Before Julian could even utter a word, his mother launched a swift kick, sending her plunging straight into the swimming pool. Go to the bathroom and gargle with disinfectant, or get out this instant. My future mother-in-law, oh my, she truly is a force to be reckoned with, the kind of person who commands instant admiration. The day I was appointed design director, Julian proposed to me. He was the perfect CEO, wealthy, handsome, with a flawless physique, and he even cooked and did housework. Stella, this day has finally arrived. You always said you wanted to rely on yourself, and now you've succeeded in your career and proven yourself. Considering I've kept myself pure for you all these years, please marry me. He knelt on one knee, holding a large bouquet of roses, his hand raising a dazzling diamond ring that blinded everyone. The surrounding crowd roared, "Marry him, marry him!" Tears of emotion streamed down my face as I extended my hand towards him. Just as the words, "I do," were about to escape my lips, a glass of red wine was unexpectedly splashed directly onto my face. The crimson liquid ran down my cheeks, leaving me utterly pathetic. The atmosphere suddenly fell into a deathly silence. Diana glanced at the crowd behind her with a reproaching look. "I told you all not to push so much. You made me spill the wine." The happiest moment of my life had just turned into a laughingstock for everyone. It was her again, Diana, Julian's childhood friend. Both the Jian and Shen families were renowned aristocrats. They had grown up together since childhood, and everyone assumed they would end up together. But when Julian met me in college, their relationship remained merely a pure childhood bond. Despite this, I knew she had never given up. Officially, she always referred to Julian as her older brother, but the way her eyes lingered on him was absolutely not that of a sibling. The affection seemed to pour from her gaze, making me deeply uncomfortable. However, due to the good relations between the Jian and Shen families, and the fact that she hadn't actually done anything concrete, I could only endure. After all, everything was just my intuition. There was no proof. If I spoke out recklessly, I would only appear to be making baseless accusations. "Oh, I'm so sorry, miss. Why don't you come to my house right next door and change? I have so many new clothes I haven't worn yet, definitely much more expensive than what you're wearing. Consider it my compensation." Diana blinked her large, round eyes, her face innocent and pure. Julian's face immediately darkened. He instantly removed his outer jacket, embracing me tightly. "Stella, you're scared, aren't you?" Next, he turned, his gaze as cold as a knife directed at Diana. "Are you gravely ill and on your deathbed, unable to even hold a glass of wine properly?" Scolded by Julian, Diana immediately began to sob, tears streaming down her face like pear blossoms after rain. She pouted, full of grievance. "Julian, it was really because the crowd behind me pushed and I bumped into her. I didn't do it on purpose. Besides, I already said I'd replace her dress. Is this just about a dress now?" I couldn't help but roll my eyes in exasperation. Julian merely let out a cold chuckle. "My wife doesn't lack a dress, especially not one from you. If you're sick, go to the hospital immediately. Don't hide your illness, don't be afraid of treatment. In such a wide-open space, how could someone bump into you? Are you 500 pounds or 800? Julian, why would you say that to me?" Diana looked at me pitifully. "Is it because you're afraid she'll be angry that you're being so harsh with me? Miss, I'm truly innocent." "You wouldn't be petty, would you? Is such a small matter worth getting angry over?" Before she could finish, a middle-aged woman suddenly pushed through the crowd, holding 2 bottles of red wine, and charged straight towards Diana. Of course, it's not worth getting angry over. Everyone watched in stunned silence as she poured both bottles of red wine directly over Diana's head. Diana let out a piercing shriek, her face a picture of utter panic. "Don't blame me, okay? I'm an old auntie, my hands shake easily. It wasn't on purpose, dear." "You wouldn't get angry over such a small matter, would you?" Seeing Diana soaked in wine, I turned to Julian, asking in astonishment, "Is this your future mother-in-law?" Just then, a maid brought a towel. Julian carefully wiped me down, but his hands were far from obedient, caressing me back and forth. He then leaned in and kissed my cheek. "Wifey, you're so sweet." My face immediately flushed crimson. "What are you doing? Your mind is full of dirty thoughts." I nervously glanced around. Fortunately, everyone was focused on Diana's pathetic scene. No one noticed us. The person standing behind Diana, whom she had just falsely accused, could no longer hold back and sneered. "Diana, your face looks terrible. Are you perhaps angry at Mrs. Giant? Diana stammered, choking on her words for a moment. Of course I'm not angry. Mrs. Giant didn't do it on purpose. Mrs. Giant smirked faintly, then pulled a black card from her purse and tossed it directly at Diana's face. Oh dear, this time it truly was my fault. Here, quickly take this card and buy 2 better outfits, something definitely more expensive than what you're wearing, okay? Don't be shy at all. In our Giant family, we lack nothing but an excess of money. Diana's face instantly turned ashen, and she awkwardly looked at Julian. Julian, could you help me find a towel? Following her gaze, I noticed her drenched dress clinging to her, even revealing her lower abdomen clearly. Julian didn't even bother to turn his head. Our house only has 1 towel. I awkwardly glanced at the towel the maid was bringing, then gently tugged on Julian's sleeve. Julian calmly wrapped the clean towel around me, his expression unchanged. Ah, I misspoke. We have 2. Thank you, but my wife has already used up both. Diana looked up at me, tears welling in her eyes. Miss, why are you so petty? How could you let Julian treat me like this? I clearly hadn't said a word, but just as I was about to retort, Julian interjected. If she makes my wife unhappy, how can I make her happy? Don't rely on that animal protection society of yours to cause trouble. Amidst the roaring laughter of the crowd, Diana's face flushed crimson and she quickly fled. Seeing Mrs. Giant walking towards me, I fumbled, not knowing what to do. I was about to say, "Hello, Auntie." But what came out was, "Hello, Mom." Mrs. Giant's eyes instantly widened, her face disbelieving, her hand holding the black card trembling with emotion. Stella, I originally planned to meet you officially after Julian proposed. I didn't expect something like this to happen. She pressed the black card into my hand. This is Mom's supplementary card. There's no limit. Buy whatever you want, don't save money for Mom, okay? After saying that, she removed a jade bracelet from her wrist, insisting on putting it on mine. Julian looked at me gently and said, "This is the Giant family's heirloom, specifically for the daughters-in-law of our prestigious family. Take it." I, of course, knew this was a treasure. A kingfisher jade bracelet like this could be worth an entire fortune. I continuously waved my hands, refusing to accept it, but Julian gently took my hand and directly placed the bracelet on. Later, you can pass it down to our daughter-in-law. My face flushed crimson, my heart in a tangled mess. I hadn't even agreed to marry him yet. Why were we already talking about having children? Exactly, Mrs. Giant agreed, also gently taking my other hand. Such a beautiful daughter-in-law is truly a blessing for this boy. Stella, don't worry, your dad and I are both easygoing people. From now on, you are our biological daughter. Anyone who dares to bully you, I will break their legs. After saying that, she glared at Julian. He quickly admitted his mistake. How could I dare? I don't love Stella enough as it is. But Mrs. Giant still wasn't letting him off the hook. Julian could only raise his hand and vow, I will obey Stella for the rest of my life. After getting engaged to Julian, he immediately took charge of all the wedding preparations, promising to give me the most magnificent wedding imaginable and make me the happiest woman in the world. Coincidentally, the country's biggest fashion week of the year was approaching. This was my first time participating in such a significant event as design director, so I poured all my energy into ensuring a perfect and satisfying presentation for everyone. Julian never complained. Every day, he braved the rain and wind to bring me meals he had personally cooked. Soon, the day of Fashion Week arrived. I led my team, bustling backstage. Seeing the models in the outfits I designed, a wave of pride swelled within me. But as the models stepped onto the runway, a commotion suddenly erupted from the front of the stage. A staff member gestured for me to quickly come see what was happening. When I rushed to the scene of the chaos, my eyes met Diana's smug expression. Look how terrible Fashion Week is now. How dare they showcase such shoddy merchandise? She pointed at a model on stage who looked awkward and unsure whether to stand or walk, then burst into scornful laughter. This kind of design? How dare someone show this off? Who's the designer? She deliberately asked loudly, then feigned surprise, furrowing her brow in suspicion. Stella. Ah, no wonder. The paparazzi, always eager for gossip, immediately swarmed around Diana. Seeing her self-satisfied expression, they pressed her with questions. What's wrong? Didn't Stella just win the gold prize at the National Design Competition? Diana covered her mouth and sneered. Did she win that award based on pure talent? Sometimes, being a beautiful woman is also an advantage, you know. I slowly clenched my fist. The implication in her words was too obvious. She was insinuating that I had used my looks and body to bribe my way to the award. I was about to confront her when, smack, a resounding slap echoed. A woman in a splendid outfit stood before Diana and delivered a direct blow to her face. Indeed, from childhood to adulthood, your dog's mouth has never uttered anything but garbage. Diana? That's right, it was Tina, the award-winning actress. I heard she would also be attending this event today. I never expected her to appear at such a perfect moment. I froze in place, unable to react, only to see the fierce actress from a moment ago suddenly smile sweetly and run towards me. Sister-in-law. Tina quickly came over and took my arm. Sister-in-law, how can such people even get into the venue? Hearing this, Diana pulled out her invitation, waving it proudly in front of us. Of course I'm qualified. Your clothes aren't even worth mentioning, and you put on an exhibition. It's just a waste of everyone's time and effort. The reporters standing nearby watched the scene with obvious amusement, eager for more drama. Before I could retort, Tina spoke up first. Not worth mentioning? This collection by the great designer Stella is meant to celebrate the unique beauty of women, emphasizing the positive power of the female gender. Someone with such an ugly inner self as you, of course, wouldn't understand. Diana tried to argue back. The unique beauty of women. I don't see it. All I see are these gaudy and common clothes. As an audience member, I certainly have the right to criticize, I softly said. I thank you. Before I could finish, a figure appeared from afar, lunged towards me, and conveniently delivered a kick to Diana. My beloved mother-in-law had come to my rescue again. She stood before us, her face serene. I just slipped and accidentally stumbled into you. Are you all right, dear? Diana, wanting to enter the Giant family, naturally didn't dare to make a big deal of it when the matriarch of the Giant family had spoken. She swallowed her anger and replied, Auntie, I'm fine. Seeing Diana sprawled on the ground, my mother-in-law instructed her accompanying bodyguards to help her up, then continued to mock. If you're fine, then get up immediately. Sitting on the ground like this, people will think our Giant family is bullying you. Moreover, Stella's exhibition had a very clear introduction beforehand. You didn't even read it and you came here to disrupt the venue, truly ignorant of manners. Looking at you, how dare you claim to be well-educated? Diana was speechless but still tried to appear wronged. Auntie, I didn't mean to. I came here to learn from Stella. My mother-in-law looked at her green tea act, not bothering to hide her disdain. If you don't know, then just watch carefully. Anyway, with your abilities, you're far behind our Stella. You're not qualified to judge. Tina also added to her mother's words. Furthermore, the outfit you're wearing is from Gia's 2023 Spring-Autumn Haute Couture collection, isn't it? The designer of this collection is precisely my sister-in-law. Someone who criticizes with her mouth, but secretly adores it in her heart cannot bear it. Diana's face changed from red to pale, but because the media was present, she had to continue playing the pitiful role. Auntie Tina, I remember now, I will try my best to learn from Stella. At this point, Diana had no choice but to endure the humiliation. The media, whom she had originally invited to cause trouble, successfully became a tool for her own embarrassment. After resolving this minor mishap, the exhibition's order returned to normal, and the fashion show concluded perfectly. I breathed a sigh of relief and turned to walk into the restroom. Unexpectedly, Diana was already waiting there. Stella, I'm so sorry about today. Please don't be angry with me. I truly want to learn fashion design from you. Can you teach me? I assessed her from head to toe. Her appearance was indeed pure and fresh, and her family was wealthy. If she hadn't been so obsessed with trivial romantic affairs, she would certainly have a very bright future. Diana, I'm genuinely curious. You've seen the Giant family's attitude towards me. Why do you still insist on lingering like this? What exactly can't you let go of? Stella, what are you saying? I don't understand. After saying that, she burst into tears again, looking as if talking to me had caused her immense grievance. In the distance, my mother-in-law and Tina were looking for me. I had indeed been away from the lounge for too long. Stella, I already said I didn't mean it. Please, please don't be angry with me. My mother-in-law and Tina had just arrived and heard Diana's tearful apologies. This scene made it look as if I was forcing her to apologize. Just as I was about to open my mouth to explain, my mother-in-law took my hand. All right, no more trouble. Our Stella accepts your apology. After saying that, she pulled my hand in Tina's and we left. I was unconsciously surprised and touched. I knew my mother-in-law was an expert at distinguishing green tea girls, but I didn't expect her to see through everything even in this situation. Mom, actually, I had already thought of an explanation for you. I really wasn't forcing her to apologize just now. My mother-in-law gently patted my hand, reassuring me. Even if you were forcing her to apologize, shouldn't you? I could tell from looking at her that she had no good intentions. Sister-in-law, you don't need to explain to Mom. Mom's heart is as clear as a mirror. Just then, Julian slowly arrived. Wifey, I had a sudden urgent matter earlier, so I let Mom come first. My mother-in-law glared at him, her voice full of dissatisfaction. Always busy. If you're so busy that you lose this daughter-in-law, I will punish you severely. Also, from now on, if it's an event organized by our family, those unnecessary people must all disappear for good. She turned back to me and continued, Stella, for a man who makes you feel wronged, you must test him thoroughly. If he hasn't passed your tests, don't rush to marry him. I smiled awkwardly. I know, Mom. That sweet, Mom, made my mother-in-law beam with joy, so much so that she immediately decided to take me to choose more jewelry and look at the new villa. Online public opinion quickly exploded. Fashion designer Stella's Gold Award, not clean. Under the headline, Unclean Gold Award, the accompanying photo showed me greeting my female professor at the Huacheng Design Research Institute. Both were standing on the same side of a table, their figures almost overlapping, in an intimate gesture. My professor, whom I hadn't seen in a long time, had even picked me up and spun me around a few times. It indeed looked a bit ambiguous. The comment section under the article about the National Design Competition's Gold Award quickly became a battlefield. Netizens demanded that the competition organizers provide clear evidence to prove my clean win. Many fashion design students also condemned me, saying I was tarnishing the industry's reputation. But my professor at the Research Institute is a woman. She just prefers unisex style. Netizens truly tend to overspeculate. Before I could even care about public sentiment, the ancestor at my house started getting jealous. Julian's phone rang incessantly. Finally, I reluctantly answered. Wifey, where are you? Don't you need me anymore? Wah wah wah. Come on now, be a good boy. Don't overthink things. I'll be right home, okay? How could I not need you? Wifey, come home quickly. I'm heartbroken. Wah wah wah, I want to hear you say it. Oh, my adorable husband, I had no other choice. I stepped on the gas and sped home. As soon as I entered, I saw my mother-in-law scolding Julian. Son, you can't even handle this little thing? Letting public opinion spread like this. Don't you dare let my Stella suffer any grievances or I'll beat you to death. The moment Julian saw me, his eyes lit up like stars. Wifey, you're finally back. I made your favorite dish. Come, try it quickly. Oh, didn't you call me back to explain that other matter? I sat down and looked at Julian, his eyes red, wearing an apron, holding a cooking shovel, no trace of a CEO left. He was clearly a pitiful young man who made my heart ache to death. Wifey, am I not better than that man on the hot search? He definitely doesn't love you as much as I do. Julian sat beside me, his eyes full of hurt, looking as if he was waiting for my praise and comfort. I chuckled at his actions. What are you thinking? That person is a girl. Julian seriously retorted. Even if she's a girl, it's not allowed. Girls can like girls, and that's scary. His words made my mother-in-law and me burst into laughter. After dinner, I intended to start clearing up the rumors about my design award. Unexpectedly, my professor, Ms. Lee, had already taken action. Ms. Lee posted a short and powerful message. Dear friends, I am a woman. Below is the list of judges for this year's design competition. Anyone still slandering me, see you in court. A few concise sentences publicly revealed the entire truth. People in the industry, already wary of Ms. Lee's position, quickly let the defamation incident die down. I sent my thanks to Ms. Lee and promised to treat her to a meal when she returned to the country. She happily accepted. As for me being accused of abusing my power, that matter didn't cause much of a stir because my mother-in-law had already handled public relations beforehand. Sister-in-law, Dad will be back from his business trip in 2 days. Let's host a family party for my brother to repropose to you, okay? Tina's personality was not cold at all, unlike on TV. Instead, she was very open and cheerful, making others feel comfortable around her. No need. I was about to say it would be too much trouble when my mother-in-law and Julian spoke in unison. Exactly. We definitely have to redo the proposal for Julian and his wife. How can it not be perfect? My mother-in-law also smiled and said, we must redo it. This time, Mom will invite the media to host a century-long engagement party, publicly announcing the daughter-in-law I've chosen. The declaration ceremony must be truly grand. In truth, I had previously overheard Mrs. Jian and Julian discussing hosting a public engagement party, but in the end, they respected my wishes and didn't make a big fuss. It was fortunate that we didn't hold a public ceremony. Otherwise, the scene of me being splashed with wine that day, if broadcast, would have been utterly humiliating. True to her word, my mother-in-law immediately began preparations. I wanted to help, but my mother-in-law said she wanted to give me a big surprise and wouldn't let me participate. The following days passed peacefully. It was rare to see Diana not causing any more trouble. She seemed to be deliberately staying away from our lives. Finally, the day Mr. Giant returned from his business trip arrived, and the family party was scheduled. Although I knew my future father-in-law and mother-in-law were very kind people, this was a significant event in my life, and I couldn't help but feel nervous. "Wifey, are you ready? Let's go downstairs." Julian was as gentle and affectionate as ever. It was this very gentleness that had made me fall for him back in college. I really had no ambition, but a warm-hearted guy like him was truly my fatal weakness. I hung up the phone and got into Julian's car. The car glided smoothly towards the hotel where the family party was being held. Today was my official introduction to the Giant family. I should have prepared something, but Tina firmly stopped me from doing any preparations at all. I'm so spoiled that I'm about to lose all my independence. Nevertheless, after much pleading, I still ordered a custom-made suit from a high-end brand for Mr. Giant. I took the measurements based on an old suit provided by my mother-in-law. After Julian and I took our seats, everyone arrived one after another. My mother-in-law held my hand, telling me not to be nervous, while Tina had specially canceled her schedule to attend. After waiting for a while, Mr. Giant still hadn't arrived. A vague sense of unease suddenly welled up in my heart. I grew up in an orphanage. Before I met Julian, I had no family. All the love I received came from him. When we first started dating, he hid his family background from me, and I was very grateful for that. Otherwise, I might have felt inferior and lost such a wonderful partner. Later, when I learned the truth, I became timid and cautious in front of him. Every action of his made me acutely aware of the differences between us. Therefore, I used that as an excuse to break up with him for a while. He didn't understand. I still remember what Julian said to me then. "Whatever I give you, you can accept with peace of mind, can't you? Why won't you spend my money? Why do you make yourself suffer like this? I've never looked down on you. Can you just spend a little time dating me? Is that 15 yuan an hour job more important than me?" I couldn't answer. I just knew that if I didn't work extra, I wouldn't be able to finish college. Finally, at my insistence, Julian agreed to break up on one condition. I had to promise that after getting into the Huacheng Design Research Institute, I would accept his proposal. I asked, "Are you sure I'll get in?" Julian confidently replied, "Of course." From that day on, I knew Julian was my destined partner without a doubt. "Wifey, what are you thinking? Dad will be here in a moment. Let's eat first." "I'm so hungry." Seeing my lack of reaction, Julian began to playfully shake my arm, pouting as usual. Yes, Stella, eat first. Dad will be here soon." My mother-in-law also smiled encouragingly. "It's all right, Auntie. I'm not hungry. I can wait a little longer." Seeing me say that, everyone didn't feel it was appropriate to pressure me. Soon after, Mr. Giant hurried into the room, but behind him was Diana. The moment I saw her, not just my face, but everyone's expressions at the table became unreadable. Diana, however, remained completely natural. "Hello, Mrs. Giant. Hello, Tina. Hello, Julian. I was in such a hurry on the way here that I just brought a few small gifts. Please don't mind them." My mother-in-law looked at Mr. Giant, her face full of anger. "Mr. Giant, what is the meaning of this?" It was raining outside, and I saw Diana carrying gifts by the roadside. I thought it was convenient to give her a ride and also invite her to dinner. Mr. Giant finished, then nodded and smiled at me. "You're little G's girlfriend, aren't you?" "Yes, uncle, that's right." I was a bit flustered, only able to respond in short sentences, my eyes involuntarily darting towards Diana. I saw her looking at me with a triumphant expression. Mr. Giant looked me up and down, then, without another word, pulled Diana to a seat. Good. Sit down, Diana." "Why are you standing there stunned? Come here and sit." He arranged a seat for Diana right next to him, close to my mother-in-law. On this side were Julian, Tina, and I sitting. "Don't you know your place? A family dinner and you allow an outsider to attend?" My mother-in-law was clearly furious, her voice louder than usual. "Oh, come on, it's so rare for me to be back in the country. It's just a family meal. What's wrong with bringing Diana? She's not a stranger. She's been here before." Mr. Giant, clearly aware that the situation was different now, immediately called his driver to take Diana home. Seeing the situation, Diana feigned understanding. "Uncle, then I'll excuse myself. I really didn't know this was a family dinner today. I truly didn't mean to." "What's the difference? You're already here, so finish eating before you leave." Dad, what are you doing? Today is sister-in-law's official introduction. What do you mean by bringing an outsider? Tina also couldn't understand her father's actions. Julian also frowned. Dad, please don't ruin the atmosphere, okay? Ignoring everyone's words, Mr. Giant calmly took a sip of tea, then asked me, "What's your surname, miss?" "Uncle, my surname is La. My full name is Stella La." Stella La, a beautiful name. Ancient La too coming to mind, seeing her again today. "So I'll call you La, all right?" Without waiting for me to nod, he continued, "Ayla, my meaning is very clear. No matter how much others in this family like you, I will absolutely not allow you to step into the Giant family's door. To be frank, the ideal daughter-in-law in my heart has always been Diana." Hearing this, Diana's gaze towards me became even more provocative, almost bursting into laughter. "Julian is excellent. Of course, he needs a worthy wife who can support him in his work. And I also know a little about your background. The fact that you've come this far, besides your personal abilities, isn't it also partly thanks to the help of the Giant family?" I stood there in silence, still holding the custom-made suit that I hadn't had a chance to present. The scenarios I had imagined for this meeting were completely different from the situation before me. "HMPH, I see you've been abroad for too long and haven't learned any progressive ideas. On the contrary, your brain seems to have shrunk from being steeped in tea." Mrs. Giant immediately retorted without ceremony. "Then I'll be frank as well. As long as I'm in this house, Diana will never step through its doors." Julian also stated resolutely, "I'll make it clear too. In this life, I will only marry Stella. If Dad likes Diana that much, then just have another child and marry them to her. Just pretend I don't exist." Mrs. Giant angrily stood up. "I don't think we need to eat this meal. Let's go eat somewhere else." After saying that, she took the suit from my hands, intending to throw it directly at Mr. Giant, but on second thought, she finally placed it on the table and pulled my hand, preparing to leave. "Stella, just remember one thing, you are the daughter-in-law I chose. Anyone else is useless." Her eyes swept over Diana like a clear warning. Tina also spoke up. "I also only recognize one sister-in-law, and that's you, Stella. So you're all against me now, aren't you?" "No one listens to me anymore?" Mr. Giant was stunned by the scene before him, unable to understand why everyone liked Stella so much. Diana tugged at Mr. Giant's sleeve, feigning weakness. "Uncle, please don't be angry. If everyone doesn't like me, then Julian and I can put this matter aside for now. It's not worth harming your health, Uncle. Truly shameless, rejected countless times and still clinging on." Mrs. Giant retorted one last time, then led me and everyone else away. In the car, my mother-in-law held my hand. "Do you know why I was so determined to choose you?" I thought seriously for a moment, then finally shook my head. "I really want to know too. You are truly very much like me when I was young. Even that resilient spirit, refusing to accept fate, is just like mine." I had never seen a young girl endure constant scolding from customers, yet suppress her grievances and smile while serving, as if nothing was wrong. I remember that day little G told me to come meet his future daughter-in-law. I was quite curious to see what kind of girl could captivate little G so much. We agreed to meet at Minju Tower. I arrived early and conveniently sat in the coffee shop next door for a while, and then I saw you. You were constantly being deliberately challenged by someone. Glass after glass of drinks were thrown onto the table, saying the taste wasn't right, forcing you to remake them. The person used harsh words on you, but you didn't argue back. Instead, you worked harder and better. Finally, that customer left a large tip and left satisfied, leaving you to clean up the mess on the table, while walking away laughing with a colleague about getting a good deal. At that moment, I thought, are young girls nowadays enduring such hardships for money? When you finished your shift, I suddenly wanted to follow you to see what you would do with that money. I guessed you would treat yourself to a delicious meal or buy a dress you liked. Anyway, I thought you would spend the money on yourself. But no. You took the cheapest bus directly to the orphanage in the east of the city, donating all the hard-earned money you had. On your way back, you still took the bus, munching on a tiny bun. I thought, if Tina were like you, I would probably die of heartache. On the way home, someone deliberately cut you off, making your bicycle fall to the roadside, but you still encouraged yourself that all difficulties would pass. I followed you the entire way, crying as I walked. Your image was exactly my image when I was young. My mother-in-law's voice choked up as she recounted this part. Yes, looking back on that period, I never thought those days were too hard. At that time, I just thought that as long as I worked hard, tomorrow would surely be better. I missed our meeting that day, but I thought we must be destined. Heaven brought little G to me. From that moment, I decided you were my daughter-in-law. Please don't take it the wrong way, dear. I truly see you as a younger version of myself. That's why I want to treat you well." At this point, I also couldn't hold back my tears. I had never felt maternal love, but now that love was right beside me. "Mom, you made me cry?" Tina also sobbed. "So, you are all my good daughters. Focus on developing your careers, don't regret it after marriage like me. Mom, rest assured, I will definitely prepare your engagement ceremony well." Things didn't stay peaceful for long. I met Diana again at the company. When I entered the tea room to make tea, she followed me in. "Stella, how does it feel?" I didn't look up. "How does what feel?" "Stella, give up. Don't think that just because you've got Mrs. Giant on your side, everything will go smoothly. Do you believe me? All I have to do is say a word, and your dream of entering the Giant family will vanish into thin air." "Oh, really? What do you want me to do now?" My indifferent attitude unconsciously angered Diana. She gritted her teeth and said to me, "I advise you to stay away from Julian. Someone like you isn't worthy of stepping into a wealthy family." I looked at her face, twisted with anger, and chuckled lightly. "Diana, do you know what you look like right now? You look like a stray dog in a small village, barking at anyone who accidentally steps into its so-called territory. Julian is a human being. He has his own thoughts. He knows who he loves. He's not your possession. You have no right to interfere with his decisions. So everything you've said today is nothing but a joke to me." "Stella, then I'll tell you too. The power of decision in the Giant family lies with Mr. Giant. He has seen the years of childhood friendship between Julian and me very clearly. As long as I diligently appear before him, your dream of entering the Giant family will never come true." "Oh, really? Suit yourself." Diana looked at me suspiciously. "Are you really not afraid of not being able to enter the Giant family? What do I have to be afraid of? Is the Giant family so powerful? What can you do by entering it?" "Of course it's powerful. The Giant family is a century-old prominent family in both politics and business. If you enter the Giant family, outsiders will respect you 3 times over. You won't need to work hard and can enjoy lifelong glory and wealth." "Oh, is that so? If living is just about feeling happy, then I choose to live for my passion, not for endless glory and wealth, as Diana said. But I also have to admit, Diana is indeed a brave person. To face such a great obstacle and still steadfastly pursue her goals, not everyone can do that. HMPH, talking to you is useless anyway. After all, in college, you still wore subsidized clothes that cost 30 yuan each. How could you possibly have the ability to pursue such lofty goals?" Diana looked triumphant. After glaring at me, she strutted away. Not long after, the date of my engagement was set. A week before the engagement, my mother-in-law took me to see the venue. It was truly special. I had imagined it would be a pure white, Western-style ceremony, but it was actually a space filled with camellias and daisies. The lights by the poolside were designed in orange-red tones, full of vitality yet not at all cliched. I could see my mother-in-law's dedication. I couldn't help but shed tears. My mother-in-law told me, "Rather than this being your and little G's engagement ceremony, it's more like a promise for you to become my daughter." That night, I lay in bed and asked him, "Julian, why does everyone hate Diana so much? Why are you suddenly asking that?" "I'm curious, tell me," I pouted softly. "All right, my dear wife, but first you have to kiss me." He winked mischievously. My face immediately flushed. I leaned in to place a light kiss on his cheek, but he turned his head, making my lips meet his directly. I couldn't resist and let him deepen the kiss. He released me, watching my hazy eyes slowly regain their clarity, and chuckled softly. "Still so easy to trick, just like in college, huh?" I lightly punched him. "If you don't want to tell me, then don't." Actually, Diana has a younger sister named Iris Shen. The 4 of us used to be very close, but in her senior year of high school, Iris committed suicide. The forensic report concluded that Iris had been abused before her death. Her body had countless overlapping old and new injuries. No one knew what she had endured, but Tina received an email in which Iris said she couldn't take it anymore. Most importantly, in that email, Iris mentioned Diana many times. Therefore, the police believed that Iris's death could not be separated from her, but since there was no concrete evidence, they couldn't do anything. So what was her motive? No one just becomes evil for no reason. Even I'm not clear about that. After the incident, my mom told me to stay away from her. I sighed heavily. I never imagined Diana could be so heartless. Recalling the times I worked with her, I noticed a habit of hers. All documents, big or small, were always organized and stored in a cloud drive. But it seems Mr. Giant really likes her, I said, a hint of jealousy in my voice. Everyone wants to be recognized by others, I'm no exception. My dad was abroad at the time. He only heard about this briefly. He's stubborn, don't pay attention to it. I was still not satisfied and continued to ask, but if we get engaged, wouldn't it still require Mr. Jian's blessing to be complete? Actually, the Jian family has always been invested in by my mom's family. In recent years, my dad going abroad was also arranged by my mom. Perhaps my mom has other plans, he said thoughtfully. What do you mean? Is your mom currently the largest shareholder of the Jian group? Yes, that's right. My mom might divorce my dad. Sending him abroad was also to neutralize his influence. Why divorce? After a moment of silence, he said, my dad has been having an affair for a long time. He and Diana's mother had a relationship before. How do you know this? I once secretly read my mom's diary. To be honest, when I first learned my parents wanted to divorce, I didn't support it. But one day, I accidentally read her diary and understood how miserably my mom had to live. At that time, my dad took on several projects that cost a lot of money but yielded no results. The investment fund for my mom's family was almost depleted. One time, my mom, feeling extremely frustrated, went to the company to find my dad, but unexpectedly caught him with Diana's mother. From that moment on, my mom was determined to make them regret it. That's why everything that happened later unfolded. The engagement ceremony went exactly as planned. My mother-in-law, backstage, represented my birth family, while in front of the stage, she was my mother-in-law. The engagement ceremony was like a rehearsal for the wedding, the only difference being that I wore an engagement ring, not a wedding ring. The wedding invited relatives from the Jian family and old friends of the family. My side, however, was quite sparse. I didn't have many friends. As I stepped onto the stage, I instinctively looked towards the guest area for the bride's side. The initial emptiness had been replaced by my teachers and the director of the orphanage. I wasn't sure how I felt, only that my eyes were teary. This was the happiest moment of my life. I cried and laughed simultaneously. The director took my hand, leading me across a small bridge to hand me over to my mother-in-law. Suddenly, a commotion erupted from behind. Everyone turned their heads. Unsurprisingly, it was Diana. She was also dressed in a magnificent outfit. My eyes glanced at the guest area and saw her parents. Their faces were filled with shame and anger. Stella, a featherless wild chicken, dares to marry into a phoenix family? She was being dragged away by security, but still struggled and screamed towards me on stage. I was still stunned when my mother-in-law rushed forward and delivered a kick that sent Diana plunging directly into the swimming pool. The camellia petals also scattered across the water. When she surfaced, she looked like a drenched chicken. HMPH, if I can't stop you, I'll ruin your happy moment, Stella. You won't have a good ending. My mother-in-law stood on the bank and said coldly, either go to the bathroom and rinse your mouth with disinfectant or get out of here right now. Mr. Jian stepped out and roared, Mrs. Jian, what are you doing? What am I doing? I'm protecting my family, protecting my child. My mother-in-law finished, then stepped onto the stage, took the microphone and announced, distinguished guests, today on behalf of the Jian family, I announce that Jian Waiguo is officially removed from his position as chairman of the board of Jian Group. Mr. Jian couldn't hide his bewilderment. Mrs. Jian, you're mistaken. I am the CEO of Jian Group. By what right do you remove me? I'm not mistaken. Here are the share ownership documents. Look closely and see who the owner of Jian Group is. My mother-in-law threw a copy of the documents in front of him. Mr. Jian's face changed from disbelief to shock. Furthermore, the divorce petition has already been filed in court. I advise you to leave here empty-handed. Otherwise, I will expose all your disgraceful deeds to the light. Impossible. Do you think if you tell me to leave empty-handed, I will just go? Don't dream about it. Mr. Jian had completely lost his composure, for he knew very well the extent of his wrongdoings. My mother-in-law still smiled faintly, calmly. Well then, let's wait for the court's verdict and see the outcome. At this moment, Diana had climbed ashore in a pathetic state. She shrieked hysterically, completely disregarding her image. Jian Waiguo, you lied to me. You never intended for me to marry Julian, did you? How much money did I give you? I even slept with you. Yet you didn't even tell me today was their engagement ceremony. Diana's mother could no longer sit still either. Diana, what are you saying? She lunged forward, grabbing Diana's hair, pulling and cursing. You dare to seduce my man, you hussy. You like Julian, who gave you permission to touch my man? Originally, I chose Iris. That child was worthy of Julian. But you trash, you only know how to humiliate yourself. You even killed Iris, you bastard. Watch me not tear your mouth apart. Diana also refused to back down, grabbing her mother's hair and yelling, "Bastard, I learned it all from you. You forced me to do all of it. I'm telling you, Iris deserved to die. Who told her to snatch Julian from me? Your family is all a bunch of trash, always craving what doesn't belong to them." The mother and daughter fought wildly. Jian Waiguo staggered past them, looking utterly miserable. Diana's birth father was so ashamed he couldn't bear it and left in anger. My mother-in-law stood on stage, looking at the scene before her, a faint smile on her lips. What a pity. The commemorative video hasn't even been shown yet, and you've all confessed everything yourselves. She calmly called for security to take all the troublemakers to the police station. My engagement ceremony ended like that, but Tina told me that most of it today was just extras. Tomorrow would be my real engagement ceremony. Everything went as expected. My mother-in-law used some connections to make Mr. Jian sign the divorce papers and agree to leave empty-handed. After that, Mr. Jian was sentenced. Diana was also arrested on suspicion of involvement in Iris Shen's death. Police found a large number of videos of Diana bullying Iris Shen in her cloud drive. The evidence was clear and undeniable. Diana's stepmother also gained a bad reputation and was cast out by the Shen family. Finally, Julian's and my engagement ceremony went smoothly, and the entire ceremony was broadcast live. Amidst resounding blessings, I put the ring on my finger. My mother-in-law, who rarely shed tears, cried today. After taking my and Julian's hands and placing them together, she looked at me and said, "Stella, Mom will always be your support." The camellia flowers bloomed brightly, and beside them, the small daisies were also vibrant. Each flower had its own unique beauty. Short play asterisk. Tina asterisk Mom, don't nag anymore. I really don't have a boyfriend. Julian's mom asterisk Tina, how can you be so unreasonable? You're not like my Stella. Tina asterisk Mom, you're playing favorites. Julian's mom asterisk then you should spend more time with Mom, and Mom will play favorites with you too.